Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. Today's question. Rakesh, I get very irritated by fake people. Any tips how do I deal with them? This concept of faking is deep, but let's focus and narrow our context. We work in a company, we study in a university, we deal with people, and I'd like you to focus this entire discussion from a communication concept because I understand communication. I'm not a psychologist or a behavioral therapist. So I'll keep my mind focused on the communication element. There is a person who observes your behavior and how you communicate with them, and they decide you are fake or authentic. Let's start with that. When would a person call you authentic? When that person judges you as a person in a certain way, and if your actions and words uh, correlate with that personality, you may be perceived as an authentic person. And faking has flavors. The simplest is that we are just trying to pretend someone we are not. The second is our words and actions don't match, which is called hypocrisy. And the third is we sometimes even lie. And hypocrisy is very common. We might be projecting an Instagram photo where we are very happy, and but deep inside, our Instagram photo is all about stay positive, be positive. But in meetings, we're always bitter and bad mouthing others, and people find us hypocrites. कि यार वहाँ पे तो भाषण देते हो, यहाँ पे you behave so badly. It's like people giving a gyan on sustainability, but the moment they have to buy a car, they'll buy the most fuel inefficient car because it's status symbol. So hypocrisy. And you don't feel that you're a hypocrite. The world notices that and judges you as hypocrisy or hypocritic or faith. The word hypocrite comes from a root which means an actor, and you know acting is a made up premise. So two and two put together, people think you're lying or you're not yourself. And the last form of faking is lying, that we sometimes lie through our teeth. We are sitting in a meeting room, the customer asks a deadline, when can you do it, and we lie that we'll get it done by tomorrow, knowing very well that we can't do it. So we are faking it, we are under pressure, and we might lie. I think all of this is unauthentic behavior which turns people off. So now let's understand that why would people get turned off by this behavior? And the answer is very simple. People get turned off by this behavior because they trust you. And when you don't behave the part that people trust you on, it breaks their entire equation with you. And they feel hurt. In fact, when two human beings have a trust equation and when that equation breaks, we feel betrayal, we feel sadness, we feel anger, and these emotions are very hungry emotions. So a part of us goes with that relationship. And that's why we feel very bitter. That's why when we are in a meeting room and when our colleague who we know as a good friend who we had coffee today morning with, where we both discussed that the boss is very bad. But in this meeting room, this friend of yours is sucking up to the boss, trying to please the boss. It will hurt you. And that's what is the problem of faking it. So now let's go to the question that, okay, what do we do with it? My first request is that learn to accept the fact that fake people aren't going away. By nature, all of us are actors. The question is how much acting do we do is a question of ethics and personal choices. But I think you have to accept it that don't change people. I think you're going to break your head. Change yourself. And that part, I think I'm going to give you 5 suggestions that worked with me and they have helped me a lot because you have to deal with people. So here's my request number one. One is that if people are bothering you and you are not able to handle this group, ask yourself, is this the group you want to spend your time with? So this is known as the question of tribes, that if your values and the value of your tribes are not matching, time has come for you to change yourself so that you become what they want you to become, or change your tribe. Please take a decision, because this is going to become toxic for you and it is impacting you. So step number one, question your tribe where you're a part of. If there's a serious mismatch between your values and their values, something has to go. So that is step number one. Step number two, learn to balance the relationships with everyone. Don't trust people blindly. Many of us have this problem. The moment we enter a room, we blindly start trusting people, we blindly start putting people on a pedestal, and we expect a lot from them. But when they don't meet our expectations, we get hurt. And then bitterness takes over. They are still the same, but we get hurt. So please don't assume people are going to be great. People are people. So don't just trust them blindly. Balance with everyone. Don't go too close and don't stay too aloof. Just be balanced about it. So that's request number two. Request number three, learn to create your boundaries. This is very critical. I think if somebody is imposing themselves on you, they are putting their fake behavior on you, learn to have boundaries and learn to say that, dude, this is my line, don't step on it, because it's harming you. That boundary is very important. I think many of us don't do that. This is not trained in India. In India, everything is chalta hai, and people sometimes step over your boundaries and they hurt us. So have that discussion with people in your team. Let them be fake, but you create your boundary that please don't enter, please don't dominate, please don't snub, please don't throw your attitude on me, I don't deserve it. And you create those boundaries because they need to get that message. That is step number three. Fourth, avoid wasting your time in looking for that perfect human being. Human beings are flawed, including you and me. All of us are flawed. All the world's leaders are very complex people. Nobody is perfect. You take any leader are inspired from Steve Jobs to anyone, everybody is flawed because we're all human beings. So please don't assume that there's this amazing um, picture perfect person, because that doesn't exist. And don't waste your time in expecting that person is going to be your boss or your investor or your customer or your family member. We're all flawed individuals. Learn to accept human beings with their flaws. I think it will be great for you because you'll get liberated from everything else. And the last and the most important fifth tip, which is I think the hardcore center of this entire video. I think if fake people are bothering you, something is also indicating you that your own behavior, you are getting perturbed by it. And if you're getting perturbed by such people, then maybe your mind is focusing too much on these people. And that means your mind is not fully focused on where it should be, which is your own identity, your own purpose, and your own response to your purpose of life. So if you can focus your energies on your work, your purpose of life, then these people stop bothering you because you don't have time for them. But if you have a lot of time to invest on these people, I think your life is giving you a warning signal that you are not connected with your core identity and your core purpose. So if you can align that, this problem will be minimized. So let me summarize these 5 steps one by one. One, change your group if your values and their values are different. Number two, balance the relationships. Don't go too close, don't stay too far. Number three, don't let their behavior bother you. Number four, avoid wasting time in looking for the perfect human being because that doesn't exist. And number five, please invest time in your own identity, your own self-esteem, and your own purpose. And if you do that, these fake people will go into your least priority zone, and after a point, they won't bother you, but you will become a better person. Stay safe.